Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to do my August book haul. I do usually include my hauls in my wrap-ups, but I had mentioned in my August wrap-up that I acquired quite a few things that I felt like it warranted its own video. So that's what I'm here to do today. It's kind of a weird situation here. I'll get into it, but I really only bought 2 books in the month of August, which is very good. So I'll get into that first so I can tell you what I spent in the month. The first thing I got is my book of the month box. I did get a book and I got Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter, and this cost me $17.11. And then we did go out of town. Chris and I had hair appointments together. And so I was out of town near Barnes & Noble, and what I decided to pick up that day was A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, and this cost me $17.25. So like I said, those are the only 2 books I actually bought, and so my total spending for the month was $34.36. Now, technically, the rest of these books I did buy, but I'm not going to disclose, I guess, how much I did spend on them. The situation with these books is basically, many of you know that this year I started like a pop-up bookstore because there's no bookstore in my area, and I, am obviously passionate about it and wanted to bring it to my community. But there was another gal who did the same thing this year, a very similar setup, and I was excited for both of us. We were both out here doing it, but unfortunately, she had to move, and so she actually sold me her entire inventory. So while I did buy these, it came in like a huge lot of books, and just know I got them for fairly cheap, and once I read them I will still be selling them. So while they're gonna stay here for a minute, that's how they came to me. So I guess the first thing I'm going to share is there was one book that I technically already owned, but there was a much better looking copy than the copy that I owned. So I am keeping a hardcover of Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter and getting rid of my previous used paperback copy. So this is one of my favorite thrillers, so I'm happy to have like a pretty edition of it. And then next I have a couple of like children's middle grade books. I am going to keep the Spiderwick Chronicles, the first book. I remember reading these as a kid, and they're obviously very short, so I thought it'd be fun to hold on to this and read it, maybe in a readathon at some point. I think this will be pretty nostalgic for me. And then funny enough, literally less than a week before this came into my hands, Ruby from Ruby Red was telling me that I need to read this series, and so I saw it, and obviously I have to keep it. She told me I have to read it, and that is Inkheart by Cornelia. So this just happened to land in my lap. Here it is. I am holding on to 2 romances, which are You Had Me at Ola by Alexis Daria. I've heard good things about this book, so I'm excited for it. And then I'm also keeping Aisha at Last. And I'm realizing I don't know how to pronounce this author's name, so I will definitely look into how it is pronounced before I journey into reading it. This next stack is just kind of like a assortment of different genres, but like fairly popular stuff that I was like, yep, want to grab that for myself. Firstly, I was excited to see Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow because I almost picked this for my book of the month last month, I think it was. And so here's a copy that I can try. I'm also keeping A Woman Is No Man. This one I'm a little unsure of. I have heard mixed things of this, and I'm not sure I would like it, but I do have a desire to give it a try. So that is My Heart Is a Chainsaw. This I thought was fun because I rarely see the first one come across, and yeah, I kind of do want to try it. A lot of people read this, and it seems like a fun time. I've heard they're kind of funny, so I'm keeping One for the Money by Janet Ivanovich. Next I have a couple like popular mysteries. Who is Maud Dixon? I have heard very good things about this book. I'm surprised more people haven't read it because every time I hear about it, it's like raving reviews. So I'm very excited to try this one. And then one I was really excited to see was The Maid. Again, another one I generally only hear very positive things about, and actually a gal I know that stops by the store when I'm set up was reading this, and so I know she was enjoying it. I'm not sure what she thought in the end, but excited to have this one. a couple of very popular sci-fis. There was actually a few copies of this, but I am going to be keeping one of The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. A lot of my friends have been reading and loving this one lately. And then like a brand new release, again, I almost picked for my book of the month, and that is Upgrade by Blake Crouch. So now, lastly here, I have a little stack of nonfiction that I set aside. I do enjoy a good nonfiction, and this is like a strange mix of things that I set aside here. So first of which being Growth Hacker Marketing. I think this is actually useful for like my day-to-day job, so it's fairly short. I thought I would give it a try. And then this I believe is a true crime, and that is Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI. So definitely intrigued by this one. I did like look all of these books up as I was going through the boxes of books I had acquired, and this had really high ratings, so I am very excited to try this. And then because I do listen to the podcast, I am going to read Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. I'm honestly surprised I haven't picked this up at some point yet, but here's my chance. I probably still will listen to this on audiobook, but the physical copy, it's a nice condition physical copy. And then I've also never read this, and I'm very intrigued because I know it's like obviously hugely popular, and that is Eat, Pray, Love. I grabbed So You Want to Talk About Race. And then the very last one is actually a graphic novel memoir. I haven't really heard anything about this, but it looked interesting, so graphic novel I'm in, and that is Good Talk. I'm curious to find out what this actually even is. And that's it. That is the 21 books that I brought in to my home this month. Yeah, here we are. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Stay tuned for when I actually get to these books, but I will see you again very soon. Bye.